I really enjoyed Immortals Fenyx Rising, so I decided to platinum it. It doesn't come without its fair share of drawbacks and trophy requirements, but it's a really fun and cute looking game. So let me tell you about what trophies you need to watch out for, because there's also one missable trophy that's easy to forget. Produced by Ubisoft Quebec, Immortals Fenyx Rising takes place in a world of Greek mythology. It's often compared to Breath of the Wild because of the gameplay similarities. You run around doing quests, puzzles, challenges, and a ton of exploring. The gameplay that you're seeing is from the early hours and won't contain any spoilers. In terms of difficulty, I played on the normal difficulty and would rank this about a 4 out of 10. It's quite easy and I found it similar in difficulty to something like Horizon Forbidden West. It's just a few vaults and bosses that can be challenging early on, and it will take you roughly 40 hours to platinum, which is slightly below average for an open world game compared to others. The platinum percentage is fairly high, sitting at 6.7%. I do recommend using a guide after you finish the story, and also being able to target specific miscellaneous trophies you have to complete, some of which do contain minor spoilers. A good thing to know is that when you have almost finished the main story, you will reach a point of no return. This is where you want to make a manual backup save just in case. You will return here after the story anyway, but it's better to be safe than sorry. You can then continue on with finishing the story trophies. From puzzles to chests and quests, there's a lot to do, but luckily you don't need to find and gather every single explorable chest, vault, or resource. Exploring and getting these obviously does help, and you'll need to do a lot of these for various tasks and upgrades, but not all of them. They will help you do the upgrades which are necessary for a few trophies, and I'll touch on those in a bit, but a tip from me is to scan every possible location whenever you are somewhere up high. This can make it easier for you to prioritize certain things and explore whatever you need. A big trophy that you need to pay attention to is the More Than 12 Labors trophy. This requires you to complete 36 tasks from Hermes' task board. If you don't pay attention to these tasks, you'll be doing a lot of very big post-game grind because of all the collectibles and various other tasks that are required. So make sure you work towards these throughout your main story missions. Luckily it does track your progress regardless of you activating the task. You'll also have to defeat all of the lieutenants and mythical monsters. These will give you wings and armor that you can then use. Some of these fights can be quite challenging and may require you to upgrade yourself further before coming back to these. I suggest you leave this until after having all the possible maximum upgrades to your skill, stamina, and health. Next up, you'll want to make sure you're chopping down trees whenever you can. You need to chop down 100 of them. Only the small sized trees can be chopped down and not the big ones. But if you don't do this throughout your playthrough, it's going to be really tedious to do this on its own. There's no tracker for this, by the way, not on PSN or in-game, so just keep doing this until it eventually pops. More collectibles are present in the form of all the mounts you need to find. These are the horse-like creatures that you can tame. Some of these will have more stamina than others and can really benefit your gameplay. Make sure to explore as much of the world as possible because the 25 you need to find only spawn in certain areas of the map. Next we have the side quests that the gods give you. These are also required for a trophy. They aren't very difficult and more of what you have already been doing, but it's good to know that you also need to defeat the 4 wraith layers before this trophy finally pops. The wraiths will randomly spawn when you enter a new area of the map and they're definitely no easy fight, so be prepared for those. Upgrading your potions, skills, and upgrades is another trophy. Although this may come to you naturally, you'll need a lot of resources such as ambrosia, lightning, and embers for this. Something many players overlook is that there is a hidden chest in each vault. These can be close to the lightning chest at the end of the vault, whilst some others will require you to take a detour. These contain a lot of resources that can really help you in upgrading your gear quicker, so try to get these chests whenever possible. And another trophy you definitely need to keep an eye out for is the technically missable trophy Look No Hand. This requires you to defeat 10 enemies using traps inside the arena vaults. This isn't particularly difficult at all, so make sure to do this early on to ensure you don't have to do another playthrough for just one trophy. The thing is that after you have beaten a vault, they close forever. There's no replay possible of vaults, so just keep that in mind. My tip for you would be to shoot the enemy to as low health as possible and then lure them into a trap. You can do this spread out over various vaults, so it doesn't need to be done in one arena vault at once. I really do think this game is severely underrated. The story, goofy narration, exciting exploration, and pretty elaborate combat system are all really fun. I actually can't wait for the rumored sequel, which is already in pre-production and supposed to take place on the Polynesian islands. I did use a guide from PSN profiles to do all the miscellaneous trophies, and I also used an interactive map to find specific locations and mark collectibles I had already found. I've linked both in the description. By the way, there's also game help available if you want to use that, which is nice. Anyway, this game is really such a fun time. The platinum grind after beating the story may be a little tedious for some, especially if you haven't done a lot of the collectibles already, but the gameplay, scenery, and story really make the experience very memorable. If you have any tips, tricks or questions, share them in the comments below. And that's it for now. See ya.